Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the Journal. I'm your host, Candice Lecca, and today we've got another spectacular show.
That's right, Candice, and I'm your host, Steve Dust, and I hope you're ready, because in this episode, you're going to learn some awesome and informative things.
We've got a few stories that'll teach you how to apply for financial assistance at college university, how to get a job through tutoring, and how to prepare a good resume, and a profile on one of our very own professors here at Centennial College. Plus, we've got a live performance by Chris Grub, aka NOMAD, that will knock your socks off. He's an up-and-coming trip-hop artist.
Knock my socks off, Candice. I don't think I'm quite ready for that.
Well, you better get ready, Steve, because his sound is amazing.
You know what? If he actually knocks my socks off, I'll buy you lunch and breakfast for the next month.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that
I'll
will
do that.
really help with my tight budget. That means more shopping for me.
Shopping? That reminds me. If you're planning on attending university, you'll appreciate our first story, Financial Services. Producer Dennis O'Connor sets out to uncover some innovative ways to find extra funding for any student embarking on post-secondary education. Check it out.
When the time comes each year for grade 12 students to think about their post-secondary education, usually the first thought in their mind is, do I have the marks? But what about, do I have the money?
So I applied to 4 different universities, Lakehead, Laurentian, Brock, and Trent, all for the concurrent education program, so I can be a history teacher when I grow up. The thing I like about Laurentian is that it's a little bit cheaper. It's around $15,000 for one whole year, whereas Lakehead is $17,000, which would leave me with a debt of somewhere between $65,000 to $70,000. After my 5 years of school, I got a summer job at a day camp at Camp Green Acres in Markham. Now, day camps are exempt from minimum wage laws, so they don't have to pay me whatever the minimum wage is. So I stand to make $1,200 for 8 weeks of work this summer, which is nothing really to pay off this year's work. And then the rest, I plan on getting money from OSAP and various scholarships and bursaries to help pay.
Well, when students come into my office, I tell them that the OSAP stands for the Ontario Student Assistance Program, and it's the major funds for any of the students coming into post-secondary education. Along with OSAP, we also have various scholarships and bursaries that these students are eligible for, and there are a few entrance scholarships to new applicants, but most of the scholarships are through different organizations, local businesses and individuals offer scholarships to students who have been in the program or of choice for at least 1 year, usually. There is also the Ontario Work-Study program where the students may work on campus and get extra cash that way to supplement their OSAP as well.
I think high schools need to focus more on informing students about how to go out there and get the money that they need for their education, instead of just telling them they need the marks, because I have the marks, but I don't have $17,000 for a year, and I don't know how to get it.
For more information on Centennial College scholarships and bursaries, check out the website. Now let's get back to the Journal.
Wow, there are so many ways to apply for financial assistance while you're in school. You just have to look closely at the available funds the institution might have. You'll have to cut your costs down and save money too.
Yeah, there are tons of bursaries they've got. The General Entrance Bursary, the CCC Equipment Bursary, the New Student Bursary, the Hardship Bursary.
What do you mean by new? Like new to the country, or?
Yeah, like a foreigner. Obviously, You're not a foreigner to this country, but what if you were? What would you do?
If I were, well, I'd watch this next story on Newcomer Services produced by Roberto Novielli. There is an agency that helps people new to our country prepare a resume and find employment. Enjoy.
The Newcomer Services for the Youth help immigrants from the ages of 13 to 24 choose the right path and maximize their potential to benefit their newfound country of Canada.
My name is Jennifer Shand, and I'm the project administrator for the Newcomer Services for Youth Malvern site. Also, I have a passion of working with youth. So when I saw the opportunity of being able to work with youth, and also for newcomer youth, because not myself but my family were all newcomers, so it was a passion of being able to put together working with newcomers as well as newcomer youth. They get out of here, first of all, I think comfort, because I think this group here is a very welcoming group, and it's also a very diverse group. Diverse meaning we have people of African descent, Chinese descent, Caribbean descent, Tamil descent. So I was lucky to get a good group a nice diverse group where all the kids could come and see at least somebody within the same culture as them. And also it's a nice professional and clean, because it's new and they see all the equipment. They're surprised that everything that they come in here is for free, and that I said, all these things that we offer are free of service.
The Newcomer Services for the Youth not only help immigrant children learn English and the skills needed to survive in today's world, but also gives them a sense of purpose. It builds a foundation in community, which, in theory, will last a lifetime.
My name is Anuj Patel, and I'm in grade 7. I want to learn new stuff and English, like a lot of English. If we need help, we ask the teacher, tutor.
Oh, they help me with a lot of stuff, like they help me to do my resume, to find my first job in Canada, and they help me with the homework club. And I asked them for the English circle, right, for corners and that. And they said they were going to do that for me and for the other youth, right, who just coming to Canada for this customer.
My name is Aaron Vive. I'm a host facilitator, helping out-of-school youth, out-of-school newcomer youth to get settled in Canada. We match newcomer youth with the youth who are living in Canada for more than 5 to 6 years. They help them out in their transition in the Canadian life. So my job is to match the newcomer youth with the youth who already been living in Canada for more than 5 to 6 years. And then they meet them on a weekly basis, 1 hour per week, and they help them with their school activities, their social life. More of a big brother, big sister type of role.
It is great because once upon a time I was a newcomer too, and I realized how much, if there was a program like this, how much it would have definitely benefited me. And so I understand the paradigm that the newcomers come from, the barriers they face, the needs they have, the kind of support they would really like to receive. And when this whole mentoring, that's exactly what we do is. The whole purpose of the mentoring is to make the newcomers integrate into the Canadian school system, outside the school, which is a community, and then get them more active in social or cultural activities.
The Newcomer Services for the Youth continues to help immigrants overcome the trials of starting a new life in a new country and settling comfortably into foreign territory for years to come.
I should probably rework my resume because it's like 6 pages long and I kind of exaggerated on a few things, if you know what I mean.
I'm pretty sure your boss is watching, Steve, so you're definitely going to have to rework that.
Yeah, he probably is.
By the way, did I mention that I eat lobster for lunch?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So coming up later in the show, we have an amazing performance by NOMAD, so we hope you'll stick around for that. But next, we have a really special story about one of the professors who teaches here in the Broadcasting and Film program at Centennial College. Sheldon Reisler has worked in television across Canada and brings his diverse experience to the classroom every day.
Born July 23, 1951, in one of the most beautiful cities in Canada, Sheldon Reisler was raised in Montreal, Quebec, where he attended post-secondary classes at both McGill and Concordia University, starting off in the study of biology and social change, which would eventually lead Sheld to his first production, which sparked his interest in television.
This particular course had an extension to it where if you wanted to, you could do a television show about it. And this beautiful new television production facility designed by the CBC and put into the building at Concordia where I went to school was, for me, really attracted my attention. I loved playing with all the toys. I just loved the lights and the lighting and the studio and the cameras and the control room and the switcher and the sounds that you could use to enhance your story or to enhance your production. At the time, I'm not sure I was thinking so much in terms of story at that time, but production was really neat. So I was producing and I was directing, and the first time I remember, the first show that I did was actually supposed to be a half-hour production called The Frail Ocean. It lasted 19 minutes, and it went terribly.
After completing his studies, Shell discovered his first real job in the media through looking in the newspaper and finding a posting for a media specialist at a local community center in Vancouver, BC.
I was making $106.50 a week, and my job was to engage the people who went to that place in media. So who are the people who went to that place? There were old folks, like seniors, who were part of a seniors program. And there were young kids, anywhere from the age of 5 to 12, who were part of kind of like a latchkey program, like an after-school program, because, we're talking about, either single-income families here because of single mothers, or double-income families that were just scraping by, but mom and dad both had to work, and so they had to, they had to drop their kids somewhere after school. So that was my audience. That was my audience, is the very young and the very old.
By the late 80s, Shell began to feel as if he needed something different and felt as though he was ready to go national and even global if possible, so Shell set out to find something new and exciting.
In the late 80s, the Vision television network was starting up here in Toronto, and was looking for programmers and people who could develop programming. And so I ended up coming to Toronto and worked on a show which was kind of like a spiritual or ethical affairs magazine type show, which aired once a week and aired nationally, aired from coast to coast. And I got to be the producer of that. I produced it for 1 year, decided I wanted to be the director more than the producer. The woman who was my associate producer had a lot of experience in as a producer and directing, and I decided,
and they try and see life as
why don't you produce this show? I'll direct it.
More often than not, that's not.
Shell has always been conscious of his teaching skills, which he harnessed through his first job working as the media specialist for the community center by teaching his audience about the media they were being made subject to, which later led him to his first real job teaching at Humber College in the television and production techniques.
For me, the big payoff in teaching is to be able to establish a relationship with people who have the passion for this industry that I have, and have an opportunity not to pass on the torch. It's not like I'm, drifting off into the sunset and retiring, but to share the torch with people who have passion and are brilliant and talented and want to tell stories in an engaging and exciting way. For me to be able to be a part of that process and to share that is absolutely contagious, wonderful. Any faculty person you talk to, ask them about why they love their teaching so much, and I think we've all got pretty much the same line. It's got to be something like that.
So what does Sheldon Reisler have planned for the future?
I'm really intrigued and enthralled with the multi-platform reality that we're in now. We are now in a place where the broadcaster that we used to know, like the CBCs and the CTVs and the ABCs and the PBSs of the world, are not the only name of the game anymore. They're not the only fish in the sea. They're not the broadcasters that they used to be. There's an emerging new dimension. There's a new group coming out, and they are you and me, the rest of us that are right now studying in broadcasting and film, and lots of others who aren't, who can tell stories shoot them shoot them and edit them and post them on the web, and get thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of viewers. Well, guess what? You know, the era of new broadcasting has come around, and so I'm really interested in that, and interested in how we can harness that, and how we can create as Marshall McLuhan put it, a more vibrant global village.
Okay, I'm impressed. I didn't know Shell had a career that extensive. Looks like you've got a long way to go, Candace.
Well, as promised, here is the exciting sound of upcoming trip-hop artist Chris Grub. Take it away, Nomad.
Thank you. Let it build up for a second.
I am perpetual now. I am nomad. 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 I am. Nomad. 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 Nomad.
You know, people look through their eyes and they think this is the world, but it isn't. It's a tiny, tiny frequency range within an infinite energy field.
1 point, a singularity, one moment of absolute clarity. In a world full of irregularity, you gotta watch close and note the similarities. Cause in a world so random, everybody follows in tandem, trapped in the twilight sleep. Evolution is a universal black sheep, something different just caused by the madness that led us to bask in the sadness. So big and oh so lonely. No, just us, the one and the only. All for one and one for all. Matter is the force that drives us all, and matter has a mass that divides us all with gravity. So we all free fall, a puppeteer of his own frontier. Just doesn't fly with me, it's like a lie to me. One being to rule them all is so arbitrary. Yeah, find me on the contrary, in the space of endless infinity, drawn together like the force of affinity. Just a race with faith in high divinity. No intelligent life in the vicinity. Light waves from light years away pave the way for our spectral arrays. DUIs and TGI Fridays. My mind has gone beyond sideways. Tell me why I feel this loneliness. My theater of the mind inside has gone silent, but the world stays violent. So don't fear death. Just take a deep breath. It doesn't have to be sublime, a reason with no rhyme. So I sat and I waited for the clock on the wall to fade, but I kept waiting, I kept sitting, kept watching, and the time still stayed. So now I slip through the wormholes from place to place. I never stay the same. I'm lost in space. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. You know what kind of trouble you in? You're on the boundary of the matrix. Do you really want to know who makes this? Not really, we're just here. I find it funny that I just don't care. Endless time seems so innocent. I find comfort in the fact that it's infinite. In the space of endless infinity, drawn together like the force of affinity. Just a race with faith in high divinity. No intelligent life in the vicinity. Light waves from light years away pave the way for our spectral arrays. DUIs and TGI Fridays. My mind has gone beyond sideways. Tell me why I feel this loneliness. With a face so quizzical, I'm lost in metaphysical.
Observation is the act of creating something for us to see. We are actually building this universe as we go.
Metaphysics. Thank you, Candace.
Man.
For sure.
So how long have you been doing trip hop for?
About a year now. Started about a year and a bit.
Awesome. So
Yep.
who are your influences?
A lot of things, not just music influences me. Actually, a lot of things in my life influence me.
Mhm.
Try to, just talk about the times, things that influence me. It's everything.
Cool. Do you write all your own lyrics?
Yeah, completely. All me. Even the beats, all that produced by me.
Awesome.
Yep.
Where can your fans find your music?
www.myspace.com/subliminal mindset. Got songs on there, about 5, 6.
Got lots though.
Perfect. Well, we'll definitely check it out. I'd like to thank you for coming to the show and hope to have you
Thanks
again.
for having me on.
Yeah.
Candace, they're gone.
Who's gone?
No, what? My socks. No, I'm gonna do my socks off.
Steve, don't worry. You can buy more socks. Socks are cheap.
No, I have to buy you lobster.
Steve, it's fine. Seriously.
No, it's not.
All right, for our next segment, features one of Canada's top jazz performers, renowned for his band, Shuffle Demons. Saxophonist Mike Murely has won numerous Juno Awards. Our producer, Alex Young, met recently and put together this really cool profile. Check it out.
My name is Mike Murely. I'm a jazz saxophonist, composer, and presently I am a full-time faculty member at York University, the area coordinator for the music department, and I teach jazz theory and performance. And I've had a long performing career, recording a number of albums as a leader and a sideman, basically since the late 80s. I guess you could say 1990, around then, yeah. The Shuffle Demons started before I even graduated. I think it was 1984, and I graduated in '86. So we were starting to do things. In 1985, we busked around Europe. It was before we had albums, or we were just starting out, and we all decided we wanted to take that trip to Europe and do it together, and may as well busk and play on the street. And it was a great way to see Europe. We had a great time. We went to East Berlin. There was still the Berlin Wall then. You could get a 24-hour visa to go over and visit, but you had to be back by midnight. And so, you know, of course we got hooked. We were playing somewhere and somebody asked us to come to a club and sit in, and we ended up going to this club and playing, and it was just great. It was wild. And then it's like, oh, it's like 11:30, we better get back to the... We got on the subway, and at East Berlin it was just run down. The subway broke down, and so it was like 20 after 12 by the time we got there, and they were like, they messed with us pretty serious. I thought we were going to be thrown into... They were like, Canadians, you're late. We must punish you. And it's like, we must fine you 100 marks each. And it's like, we don't have any money, you know. And they were searching all our saxophone cases, you know, but finally they realized we were just a bunch of hosers and they just let us go. So. But I was scared. I was like, man, this is not good. In Canada, you know, you can't just play in one group and expect to work all the time in the jazz business. Now, if you're in a pop band or something, that's different. But in the jazz business, you kind of have to play in different groups. So I had my own group going, but I was still playing with Time Warp and Brian Dickinson's group and many other groups. So it just kind of goes in phases. Different groups take priority. But I did focus mostly on my stuff in the early 90s. Well, there will always be live music, but you have to be very committed and take every opportunity you can to go out and play. Because you can't replace that experience. I mean, like I said, but the Shuffle Demons, just having the chance to play every night when you're in your early 20s was a great thing. That's how you learn how to play. I mean, you learn at school, you learn from your teachers, you learn by practicing, but at some point you have to actually go out and do it as much as you can.
So, our next story is about a Canadian national fencer from Russia named Katya Belkina. She started fencing as a child and now teaches the art of fencing in Toronto. Enjoy this next piece produced by Renee Klein. Take a look.
Many people don't discover their passions at an early age as Katya Belkina did. The daughter of 2 Russian national fencers was introduced to fencing at the age of 8 with her father as her coach. After 7 years of competitive fencing, Katya took a break to pursue her education and received a PhD in economics. Soon after, she moved to Canada and began to watch fencing competitions where her passion prevailed, and she took up the sport after a 15-year break. Currently, she has been fencing for the Canadian national team for 2 years and won gold in 2007. In October 2008, during a competition, Katya injured a joint in her right hand, subjecting her to many treatments including shock and physiotherapy. The injury temporarily caused her to rearrange her life priorities until her hand is healed and she is able to competitively fence again. One of these priorities includes her coaching. She began to coach fencing in Canada at Lycée, a private French school, and the Dragon Fencing Club before injuring her hand, and it is now a dominant part of her life. Adapting her father's coaching techniques, Katya integrates her own styles with what she has been taught.
One of few things that I keep is to stay strict with kids, to stay focused. Sometimes I allow myself to raise my tone of voice, but as a result, things are getting done. And one of the reasons I'm here is for sure we're having fun, but the other reason is I want them to become great fencers. Because fencing is not just running around and poking each other, it's all about tricking your opponent and find out some weak spots that your opponent has so you can convert it into advantages for yourself.
She explains it and she tells us all the details of how to do it, and then we learn very fast. It's fun. At start, I didn't think that we actually get suited up and start to do it, and that got me really psyched. I love to actually fence people, and that's fun for me.
You can't just give them boring stuff. You can't just say, we have to practice this for 30 minutes. It's not going to work. They learn, the best they learn is through games. So that's why I'm trying to use so many games during teaching. So kids, they don't even notice that they learn new things. They practice their skills. They become stronger athletes or faster, or all this coordination and flexibility and many, many other skills.
Katya makes fencing fun. She tells us how to do this, how to do that, and everybody's improving. She helps us play games. She tells us footwork and handwork. She's serious sometimes, but she's always fun.
I think my favorite part of coaching is to give kids information, to teach them something and learn something new from them. It's a really two-way process.
I think it was Daniel that hit, but Callum counter-attacked her.
I give them so much and they give me lots of new things to me as well. It's what I'm in this world for. I feel that that's my best ability because I just like teaching people. I just found myself at some point being so emotionally involved, and that's one of my greatest satisfaction in life. When people are happy, I'm happy. I think that's really the reason. When I see my kids being happy, doing fencing, I know that my mission is accomplished, and I just keep working with them.
Beautiful, like the picture.
That was terrific. Steve, what's with that look in your eye?
It's called the Dawson Stare of Death.
Oh.
I took a few martial art lessons back in the day, you know.
Do you mean the first free trial lesson, Steve?
Well, I don't have a lot of money, Candace, because I'm out there buying people breakfast and lunch, and I'm losing socks left and right.
Okay, well, maybe you should try mixed martial arts and take your aggressions out there.
Maybe I should.
It's a full contact sport that allows a wide variety of fighting techniques from different martial arts. Watch our next story, Neil Carta, who teaches Ultimate Martial Arts Gym in Scarborough. Take a look.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This is Neil Carta, a student, a teacher, and a fighter of mixed martial arts. This is his story.
I've been training for about 7 years now, intensely for about 2 years now, right? And I've been teaching for about 5. I love teaching. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't even get paid for this, right? They just give me membership. That's it. So it's a good trade-off, but I think I put more hours than what it's worth, but it's fantastic. I love teaching. You know what I mean? Just teaching these people how to react in certain situations, right? Especially in the ring when you fight. It's just totally different from when you just swing and hit pads.
Roll around, come straight there, straight back.
Oh, like, the thing is, though it's only like, the fight's about 6 minutes, right? In those 2-minute rounds, you can learn so much because it goes by so slow. You know what I mean? 2 minutes seems like 2 hours. So I was actually able to see all the holes in my game, where my hands were dropping, or my punches weren't coming through, or I didn't string my stuff together. So I teach that in my class. So if you saw my class today, I taught them, I even said, I don't know how to do this yet, so I want to teach them how to do it. So I teach them my flaws, so that when they get in the ring, they don't fail there. I've had one fight, and my ass kicked. It was bad, because I had to drop 25 pounds in a month. Yeah, so I had to fight at 155. I was walking around like 175, 180, and I lost it, and I had no muscle power. Right? I went to my fight. I'm just like, right. So he kicked my ass. Just balls out. Just started swinging for the fences, and I didn't have any power to stop him. So I lost it. Yeah, I'm pissed. I want to go again. I'm gonna go again this year, for sure, for sure. You feel the person out for the first round. You feel your opponent for the first round. Second round, you attack more, and then the third round, just no regrets. Just swing for the fences. You know what I mean? You want to impress the judges. Even if you're winning, you just keep on going, because if you're losing and you do it, you're going to win. So my thing is just go balls out, swing for the fences for the last round.
That was a great piece produced by Kevin Exconde. Steve, are you going to be okay for the rest of the show?
Hover cover Candace, I'm huge. Well, that's our show. Don't forget to join us for next week's show, where we run a story on a day in the life of a firefighter, plus a very insightful piece on the Toronto Sri Lankan community coping with genocide against Tamils in their homeland. And there will be much more. I'm Stephen Dowson.
And I'm Candace Lacka. Thank you and good night.
So let's talk about random shit.
I am perpetual now. I am nomad, nomad, nomad. Nomad, 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 nomad. I am, nomad, 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 nomad.
You know, people look through their eyes and they think this is the world, but it isn't. It's a tiny, tiny frequency range within an infinite energy field.